I'm not going to go the rest of my life hiding the fact that you said to me you don't want to ever have a relationship with me. This is my story too, and I have the right to tell my story.
This is heartbreaking because for years, people have told Meri to leave. For years, people have called Meri names, and Kody has sat there and watched all this, and he hasn't said anything and continues to refuse to say anything publicly and let Meri take the blame because people will say she chose to stay with him when he knows that they created this covenant and he has chosen to hide behind his wife and his happy marriage. Anyway, I digress. Hey there, thanks for stopping by. It's Valerie. Welcome to my channel. In this episode, I'll be reviewing Sister Wives, Season 18, Episode 11. If you're new here, don't forget to subscribe, click the like button, turn on the notification bell for when I upload new videos, and definitely leave a comment. Oh my god, I don't even know where to start. Anyway, so you have Kody and Tony telling, Isabel that she's pregnant because apparently Isabel didn't know, although you could see the pregnancy, so it doesn't make sense to me. I think they should have just used it as an announcement that they're expecting twins, which would have made more sense. Personally, for me, Kody, I'm a bit indifferent to her in the sense that I don't like her, I don't dislike her, I'm not bothered about her just because of the fact that she's been saying some really bad things about Meri, and it's like, yes, we know you and Meri don't get along, but for you to now use this time to really go after Meri, why have you not brought anything up all the years? You've been married for a couple of years, you've been an adult for a couple of years. If you had such a big issue with Meri, why didn't you bring it up? Why did you wait until your mom left the family for you to start saying all these nasty things? Were you afraid it would create tension? And if you were afraid it would create tension, how do you think Meri or Mariah feel hearing you say all the things you're saying about her mother, and yet you're still close with Mariah? Make it make sense. So for me, I don't know. They were excited that she's expecting twins. So you have Meri talking about her anniversary with Kody and the fact that Kody didn't phone her, didn't send a text message, nothing. And so she had to phone him, and he gave her the excuse that he's looking after the children. And it's like, children go to school. What does he mean he's looking after the children? And he actually owned up to say, well, I wanted time to come up with an excuse for saying no. And for me, this is heartbreaking on Meri's behalf in the sense that Kody and Robin played Meri, in my opinion. They played Meri in the sense that Kody married Robin in 2010. Meri had the catfishing incident somewhere between 2010 and 2014, because 2014 is when she legally divorced Kody, and then Kody legally married Robin, but then it wasn't aired until 2015. And so for me, I feel like as soon as Kody realized that Meri, there was a possibility that she could leave him, I think he decided to legally divorce her and marry Robin and use the pretext of the adoption as the reason why. But I think he was heartbroken because Meri considered leaving him, and this is something I think he never thought possible. I think he felt like his wives were always going to be there regardless of what he did or what he said. If they could sit there and watch him bring in woman after woman after woman, then there was no reason why they would want to leave him. And so I think Kody, in his mind or in his relationship with Robin, knew that he was divorcing Meri well before they legally divorced. And so he played along as though he was still in love with her and he was still in this marriage. And once he married Robin, I think this is when his true colors came out. And I think this is why there was a lot of backlash from some of the sister wives saying, no, why are we changing? We need to keep the system that's in place, because they knew that Meri, irregardless of how they felt about her or how they behaved towards her or how she behaved towards them, she would always keep the family united. But they didn't think the same thing of Robin. And so for me personally, I feel like Meri stayed in this marriage just because she was afraid of the backlash after the catfishing incident, and she couldn't sort of sum up the courage to sort of leave or make any plans to leave in case things didn't work out. She didn't know whether the family would accept her a second time or whether her daughter would be okay with it. I've always said, if Mariah had told her mom that I'm happy for you to move on, there's more to life than a relationship with my dad. If it's not working, Meri, I think, would have been out the door. If Kody had told Meri before they got divorced that I'm divorcing you because I don't feel like I have any love to give you, or I don't feel like I still want to be in the covenant with you, I think Meri would have moved on happily. But he strung her along because he didn't want the backlash from the viewers. He didn't like the ideas of viewers saying he used Meri by lying to her that he wanted to divorce her so that he could adopt Robin's children. And I also think that he didn't like the idea of Meri moving on and starting a new life with somebody else. So instead of that, he was going to drag her along the same way he wanted to drag Christina along, the same way he wanted to drag Janelle on so that nobody else could have them. At the same time, he didn't want them. And that's my opinion of that man. So you have Isabel and Truly visit their dad at his house with his beloved wife. And so Robin is talking about the fact that, Truly is always comfortable. I always wanted to be comfortable in my house, but Isabel is not comfortable. And it's like, how do you... Truly is naive in a lot of ways, in the sense that she's still very young, that she can't pick up on certain things. Whereas Isabel is older. She gets to watch her dad be a loving and attentive father to other children. Yet when she was at the lowest point in her life, where she was experiencing excruciating pain and needed surgery, he gave her a jumper and told her, sorry, I won't be able to come with you. So how do you think she would be comfortable watching him treat you as his, adoring you as his beloved wife, and sort of showering your children with him and your children that you brought into this marriage, and yet he is her biological dad and couldn't, at least show her half the love that he shows all 6 of your children? Make it make sense. Or is it 6 or 5? I don't even remember. And so for Robin to be shocked that, I've missed these parties where we have the whole family. At least we have part of the family. I want everyone to feel comfortable in my house. And it's like, how could they feel comfortable in your house? How? And besides, as I said last week, that's not her house. That's their mother's house, in the sense that Meri has money in that property. Janelle has money in that property. The only way Christine doesn't have money in that property is because as soon as she left Vegas, she bought her home, and then once she decided she was leaving Kody, she took her money with her and went to Utah and bought another home there. So the idea that you'd say, I want them to be comfortable in my home, you have done certain things that have made them feel unwelcome in that home, that have made them feel unwanted in that home, and that's why they are very awkward when they come there. And I have a feeling there's more to Truly going to see Kody, because it seems every time we see her on camera at Kody's house, one of her siblings is with her there. So she must have complained to Christine about something, but it's not being aired, because the last time she was with McKelty and one of her other siblings. This time she's with Isabel, and it's like, what is going on? What are we missing? I think those children know they're not welcome in that household. And the fact that their father went shopping and didn't buy enough food, and, we've only got 6 pieces of chicken, we'll have to share. Did you not know that Truly and Isabel were coming? Even if that's the case, why would you say that out loud? Why didn't you take something else out of your freezer or somewhere to cook for the rest of the people and not have to make them feel unwanted? That's why maybe they feel uncomfortable in your home. And so it's brought up that he doesn't speak to, Madison. And it's like, what do you think, Sherlock Holmes? What do you think? These children are older. They can't see everything. How do you think Maddie feels watching you fight her mother for her brothers to be kicked out of the home, and yet Robin's children are living in the same household as you? Make it make sense. So he wanted Gabriel and Garrison kicked out of the home, but he's okay with all of Robin's children staying in the home and doing whatever they want to do. And they actually brought COVID home. Make it make sense. I know Garrison and Gabriel, one of them brought COVID, but they didn't infect Kody. He stayed clear of them when they were sick, and yet when Robin was sick, he wanted to go and admit himself and pretend to be very sick. That way they could give him a bed next to Robin. Make it make sense. That man, I don't understand his rationale though. I don't understand his common sense. All his children are going to have a bone to pick with him. Even now, with the comments he's making about Meri, I have a feeling Mariah is going to have an issue with him. She's going to have a problem with him, because how dare he speak like that about her mother? That's not fair. Irregardless of how he feels about her, he didn't need to make those comments about the mothers. He didn't need to make the comment about his children. And that's why they're all turning against him. It's nothing else. If he wants to have a relationship with his children, he's going to go cap in hand and beg and apologize to his children and hope that they forgive him and want to mend their relationship with him. Otherwise, he's going to be out there with Robin's children for as long as they can tolerate him. And when they're good and done, they will move on and leave him alone. So you have Janelle with Gabriel. Sort of, apparently her children sort of contributed money, and they decided that they would have a little sort of patch for her on Garrison's property for her to sort of do her gardening, since she doesn't own a property at the moment, which I think is very loving and caring. Janelle's children seem very focused and sort of goal orientated, and they seem very caring towards their mum and will do anything for her. And I think seeing her cry must really break them when she cried that she had nothing. Anyway, she's busy gardening with Garrison, and she's just talking about how that brings her peace. And then she talks about the fact that she hasn't seen Kody since they went on their date. And I personally think the only reason he took her on that date was because Robin must have told him that if, Meri leaves, if Janelle leaves, we're stuck. We don't have anyone to provide for us financially, because the two of them seem to have been the main breadwinners. Christine worked, but I don't think she's always had a job like Meri. Meri has always had 2 jobs. Janelle has always had her job that she was focused on, and then she did the real estate thing when they were in Vegas. So, then comes up the topic of the fact that Coyote passed. What are they going to do about it? And Kody's busy saying Janelle is pestering him, and it's like, she's not pestering you. If I were Janelle, I would say, let's get the money out. Let's sell Robin's house. Give me my money back. We pay off Coyote Pass, and then we sell it. And whatever, we divide it by the 3 of us. Everybody takes their lot and goes. And, we can do our own thing. Instead of him sitting there in his palace and saying Janelle is pestering him as though she's begging him for money. That's her money that she invested in the property. That's her money that she invested in your home with Robin. The 2 of you are sitting comfortably in this massive house, and she is struggling. Her children are having to sort of provide a little bit of space on their land for her to sort of have a hobby or something to do to take her mind away from the problems that she's facing. Have compassion and empathy. Janelle was the main breadwinner for this family, followed by Meri. And so for you and your wife that you love so much to suddenly look at them as though they're pestering you doesn't make sense. I think they need to sell Robin's house, pay off the loan, sell that property, divide the proceedings by 3, and then give, everybody does whatever they want to do. I think this is part of the reason why Meri didn't move away from Flagstaff as well. I think she wants her money back, and she knows that if she moves away, then that's it. So at least if they give her share, yes, she's got her family home that she bought, but she can also buy herself a retirement place or somewhere else to live. They need to give people their money and stop looking down on them as though they're pestering him. It's sad. And for Kody to sit there and say, oh, when my child turns 18, then they're not my responsibility. And it's like, well, you've got Robin's son, the one that everybody moved to Flagstaff for. He's over 18, but he still lives at home with his parents. You've got the daughter. She's over 18. She still lives at home with her parents. And yet suddenly, when it's everybody else's children, they are adults and they need to do their own thing, and they need to show you respect, and they need to continue communication with you, irregardless of how badly you treat them or their mothers. Make that make sense? I don't understand that man. He infuriates me. Oh, it's so sweet. So you have truly been taught by her siblings and brother-in-law how to cycle with her mother there. And there's this conversation that she had a terrible experience with Kody. And for me, it would have been terrible either way, no matter how perfect he was, because it seems like he used one of his children's bicycles to teach her how to ride a bicycle, which doesn't make sense to me. I think if he wanted to teach her, he should have bought her a bicycle and then tried to teach her how to ride her bicycle, not teach her on somebody else's bicycle. That was wrong. And for him to say he was forcing her, because you have to force children. And it's like, yes, at times you have to make your children do things they don't want to, but there's a way of doing it without sort of demoralizing them and sort of breaking them down. And it was nice to see her siblings sort of cheering her on, her brother holding the bicycle and listening to her. And I like Aspen's husband, Mitch. I think Mitch is, I prefer him personally to Tony. I think Tony just says whatever comes to mind and doesn't have breaks or a censor. Whereas with Mitch, he's more quieter and he's more reserved and he's more thoughtful in what he says. And even Christine acknowledged this, that, every time he speaks, we all keep quiet because he doesn't speak all the time. And so when he's speaking, we know he's saying something that makes a lot of sense. So we all have to pay attention. And it was like, that's sweet. It was really cute to see. It was a nice family scene. Well, it's sad to see Meri, the ongoing story of Meri, because it seems we're only getting her side, and Kody has decided he doesn't want to say anything, he doesn't want to do anything, and he's going to hide. And then later on, I think once Meri leaves, start to paint her in a bad light, the way he and Robin have tried to paint Christine, because Meri reveals that when they went on their date, he sort of said to her, how much longer can this keep? Well, that's the impression that I got, that he was asking her, how much longer can we keep pretending that we have a relationship or that there's something there worth us working towards? And so Meri was taken aback, because I think Meri thought he didn't want anything to do with her physically, but I think spiritually she thought they were still tied, and this must have been what he used to sort of convince her to sign those divorce papers. And so for him to tell her that, I've been pretending all along, I haven't really been in love with you, and I haven't really been in a marriage with you, you've been in a marriage on your own, I think was heartbreaking for her personally. And so for her to come to that realization and for her to sort of reflect on her marriage, and as I've always said, I think she was waiting for him to give her permission, because she says she actually asked him to say, can we sort of talk about it publicly, our separation, and let it be known why we're separating and what's happened. And he refused. And it's like, Meri, after the catfishing, as I've said before, was waiting for either Kody or Mariah to give her permission to leave. And so for him to refuse to do that is very insensitive. For him to sit there and watch people mock her and call her names for not leaving him, knowing that he doesn't want anything to do with her, and it's been almost 8 years, doesn't make sense, in my opinion. And it's understandable that she grew up in this culture whereby polygamy was all they knew, and this was a way of life for them. And suddenly for her to have to realize that, no, this is not working, she has to move on, I think is something she's trying to adjust to. She's something that she's trying to learn. And so I really hope nothing but the best for Meri. And I really feel sorry for her, because this man has used her. And then when she refused to be used, he's turned on her and sort of left her in the wind, floating. I think, yes, the catfishing was the thing that started the breakup of their marriage. But I also think that her buying the property, I'll say this again, because she was a financial means to an end for him and his lifestyle that he wanted. So her, keeping her family property in her name and refusing to put it in the Brown name, I think is the other reason why Kody lost interest in her, because he always wanted people he could manipulate. The same way he's starting to lose interest in Janelle, because he's realized that she is moving on with life without him. Kristen has moved on with life without him. And he thought, he was it, and all his wives would always fall behind him and just wait for him to do whatever he wanted, and whenever he was ready to come back home. Oh, I feel sorry. Anyway, I digress. Thanks, guys, for watching. Please don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe, and click the link in my video to watch my review from episode 10. Bye, everyone.